One thing you never want to do is find yourself owing somebody money when you're inside of prison. You never want to go in debt. Some people can't handle it, and some people, find themselves in debt more often than not in debt. One thing I will let you know is gang members seem to think that they can get away with it more often also. For this video here, I'm going to be telling y'all a story about how a CRIP got knocked out and stuffed under a bunk all over a debt he owed inside of prison. This video is one of them videos where I actually felt sorry for a gang member.
Same time of the week, let it be there. Have my people send a message, make sure that it's there. Time for me to collect, bring the shit over here, cause you can tell them my face, don't make me come over there. I run up in your room, put my shank in your neck, swear to God I wet you up, better show me respect. I'm hitting licks like nut break bread with dogs, putting on for Eastside, Davey, this K-fraud, it's a robbery. Heard what I said, I got some names I won't say, most of them dead. For that tune you get, there's a price on your head, take the shit out your locker, throw it all on my bed. You got a daughter back you up, on care but you click. 2 lockers to fit both y'all shit, see me in the cut jamming, smoking the rip, getting tighter with the money that your people are sent. See on the streets I would've bust you, but in prison I come cut you.
What's up, y'all? You already know, man. K-Fraud TV back in the building. Y'all go ahead and do me that solid favor, man. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And also make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. Welcome back, y'all. Today I'm going to be telling y'all a story that I seen take place while I was inside of prison when I got sentenced to 60 months down here in Florida. Now, like I said in the intro, you never want to find yourself in debt. You never know what could come when you find yourself in debt. Some people might let it slide. Some people might take it farther than it actually needs to go. Me personally, I never get myself in debt. That's one thing that I know. If I ain't got the funds to cover it right then and there, I ain't betting you on it. I ain't gambling about it. We ain't got nothing to discuss. It ain't no, oh, I'll pay you in a couple days. It ain't no, oh, I'll get it to you next week or next month when my people send the money. None of that. If Frog ain't got them pesos right then and there, ain't got nothing to talk about. But some people like to stretch and see how much they can milk people for. Now, I will tell you one thing though. When it comes to owing somebody money, if your ass ain't ready to pay, your ass gonna get dealt with. A lot of the institutions that I found myself incarcerated at, majority of the gang members like to gamble. Okay, depending on where you land and how their structure is, how their structures ran, they might be not allowed to gamble. But you'll still find them getting violations from their own kind because they decided to gamble anyway behind the gang's back. Now, one day I was chilling on the rec yard and a big old argument broke out. So it kind of caught everybody's attention that was, on that part of the rec yard. And it happened to do with a CRIP. He got in an argument with a couple other people. Now, the people he was arguing with wasn't like his own gang. It was people that were in a different organization. So as they're arguing back and forth, from what I could see, they're arguing over money. Now, at that point, I didn't know that the CRIP owed anybody money. You see, I thought they were just arguing over a possible bet that could, come in the future. Like if they were going to bet, you know what I'm saying? But the bet had already been, established. The CRIP lost, and he found himself in the hole over like 70 bucks. Now, that's a lot of money inside of prison, okay? If you don't know that, people do dangerous things to people over the littlest thing inside of prison. $70 is a lot of money, and somebody can kill you over that, you know what I'm saying? I was at institutions where people would drop $50 PayPals on people's heads and get them stabbed up, get their face ripped open with razor blades and stuff like that, just over $50. So 70, somebody will try to, take you up out this world. Now, the whole argument when they were arguing and everything like that, we thought something was going to pop off at this, particular time. So my homeboy that I was with, that was working out next to me, he starts telling me, watch, Frost, it's finna pop off. It's finna pop off. So, of course, I'm observant. I'm trying to pay attention to everything that's going on because I don't want to get caught in the crossfire. Now, I will say when it came to the CRIP that was, the one that was in debt, I've seen him gamble before, like I've seen him loud mouthing while sitting at the table playing poker, talking real loud like pay up, you know what it is, slamming the cards down, just real like confrontational, you get what I'm saying, and making it known that there's money on the line. Let me get that, boy, go grab that, go grab. So it wasn't no secret that he had been gambling. Now, later on that day, since I'm in the same dorm as this Crip, it comes time to go to chow. So when everybody decides to go to chow, you know, me, I wasn't eating that day. They were feeding us some bullshit trays, so I remember I stayed back. Now, when I stayed back in the dorm, big population of the dorm decided, you know, to go eat. Those are for the individuals who ain't got nothing to eat, you know, or said to hell with it. They got somewhere they need to slide to, so they got to use the opportunity of going to chow to, you know, slide to a different dorm, go handle business, do whatever it is they got to do. So at this particular time, some other people slid in our dorm, which happened to be his brothers. You know, some people that were Crips just like he was. I want to say there was like 3 other ones that were inside of our dorm, including, you know, like a dude who had high rank in the organization. So they're all in a cell and shit like that. We can hear the conversations a little bit like that. We hear arguing going back and forth. Next thing you know, the head, his name was Playboy. He's like, hey, Frog, check me out. So I'm sitting there, and I remember I was eating me a bag of chips, sweet onion chips. It was the chips I was eating. I still remember. And as I'm eating the chips, and he says, Frog, check me out. I'm looking up there at the top tier. I'm like, what's up with you, Playboy? He's like, check me out. So I'm like, all right. So I go up there. I'm eating my chips as I walk up there. When I got up there, you know, he's like, man, see, you know, bro, my brother, dog, he can't get this shit right. You know, he always want to owe people money. He think he the only one it affects when you owe bread. He don't understand how it looks. You know, we about to go to war, yada, yada, yada. He's telling me these things. So in my mind, as I'm eating the chips, walking with him, I'm thinking like, since the Crip, a white boy, you know, that he's talking about, I'm thinking he gonna want me to fade him. Right? That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's asking me why I fight him for him or something like that, because he's telling me so much about this shit, you know, and I just had that vibe that that's what he was telling me. So as we walk up there towards, you know, the cell and shit where all of his brothers are, you know, we go near the cell door. His brother's in there, whatever. He's standing there up against the wall. All the other ones are yelling at him, shit like that. So I'm thinking they're going to give him a violation or anything like that. So next thing you know is we're standing there. He's like, I want you to pay attention to all this type of shit that happens when you decide to gamble. And I said, oh, bitch, I don't gamble anyways. You know what I'm saying? He was like, nah, I know. But he's like, but at the end of the day, you know, it's good for people to see, you know, that we be handling up. We need people that can witness this, because we don't need people to think we don't take care of business even when it's our own. You feel me? So I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? So I walk up to the room, and the Crip who, you know, owed the bread, who the whole situation was over, when I walk up to the room, he looks over and he nods. And I'm like, what up, bro? I'm like, what's up, y'all boys? And they're like, oh, shit, da, 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 this dummy right here, blah, 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 blah. So they're talking cash shit about him. So next thing you know, when they talk it all out and everything, and the white boy go to leave the room, one of his brothers walked right up behind him and yoked him right as he went to walk out of the room. He yoked that boy, and he did like he grabbed him like this and turned and like suplexed that boy. Like literally yanked him back in the room, slammed him like dead ass on his head, it looked like. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh shit. So I lean up against the wall, like in this cell. And when they slam him, boom, on his head, the other Crips start stomping him. They start kicking him, stomping him and shit. So me, I like, since I'm up against the wall, you know, I kind of make my way towards the door, you feel me? Because I know at the end of the day, it ain't my position to just start stomping some dude, you feel me? And not only that, I don't know if this is what they do for violations, you know, because I'm not a gang member. So I'm a neutron. I'm not affiliated, you know. So what I look like stomping one of their brothers with them, you know what I'm saying? That shit might make it to where they turn on me and try to stab me or something, you know what I'm saying? So I just made my way towards the door and kind of like just peeped from like the sink area. I was in the corner watching them, and they stomped this brother of theirs, right? I don't know if it was from the slam, but he didn't resist. Every time he was getting kicked, that boy was just out cold, it felt like. It felt like he didn't resist from the get-go. The moment he hit the ground after being turfed up in the air, boom. The other dude that like landed on his own back, the dude that grabbed him, like went like this and boom, dropped that boy. And when they were stomping him, he wasn't, resisting, wasn't fighting back or nothing. So another thought in my mind that maybe they're not allowed to swing back during this. And what it was is that boy was knocked out. And the way I know he was knocked out is because as they were stomping him, kicking him, hitting him and shit, he was moving little by little, and before you know it, they stuffed his ass under the bunk. You know, this is a cell that had, you know, a slab mounted to the wall, metal slab, and then a slab mounted to the wall above it. They stuffed that boy up under that bunk, and you just see him hanging out, like his arm would hang out. They'd grab his arm, stick it back in there, and then they hang onto the top bunk, kicking that boy. They knocked their own brother out of owing this debt. And they did it right in front of me. You know what I'm saying? And I remember telling Playboy, I was like, damn, I'm like, what you call me up here for? He was like, oh, because at the end of the day, you know, you a white boy, he a white boy. You know, so we want to show you, you know, this is the type of shit we got to deal with when white boys like him want to gamble. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, and we know you be rocking. We know you be putting on, getting into situations. He was like, so we just letting you know, if you ever find yourself affiliated, or if you ever find yourself owing debt, this is the type of things that come with owing somebody a debt. You feel me? And he broke it down to me in a way to where I didn't feel like intimidated. I didn't feel like he was directing it at me like, oh, this is what we gonna do to you. If you know what I'm saying, he didn't throw it out there at me like that. He just broke it down and was like, look, this is what we gotta do to our own kind, because if not, a war was gonna strike amongst them and another gang. You see what I'm saying? And I guess they didn't have the numbers to go to war, so they gotta take care of their brother themselves. However it is, yada yada yada. You know what I'm saying? Now, when they stuffed that boy up under the bunk like that, and they were kicking him and kicking him and kicking him, we literally, like, due to the cameras, you know, that can see the outside of the cells, but they can't see inside the cells, they didn't want us all walking out, you know, together. So they literally, like, wanted one person to walk out, wait a couple seconds, let another person walk out, wait a couple seconds. I found myself, me and the head at the time, his name was Playboy, like I said, I found myself, me and Playboy, the last two in the cell, and me looking over, and that boy was just lecturing me, put me up on game about this is the type of shit happens when you owe people money. And I found myself looking down, seeing this dude knocked out, sleeping right up under his bunk. He like literally just laying there. And I'm in his room getting put up on game, getting schooled about this is what happens when you owe people money. You see what I'm saying? And I'm thinking like, damn, these boys ain't show no remorse for their own kind. Imagine what they'll do to people who aren't their own kind. You know, that's how I was looking at it. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, they didn't have that many numbers or nothing on the institution that I was at the time. So other gangs were like way worser, you know. Other gangs, they were slicing and dicing their own kind, wetting their brothers up, getting them airlifted, making the helicopter land on the compound and shit like that. You feel me? They weren't just roughing their brothers up, beating them up like that. And I still to this day don't know if that was a violation or if they X'd his ass out. Because I've never heard of a violation, them putting them to sleep like that, stomping them and you know, belittling them by shoving them under the bunk. You know what I'm saying? Making them look like they was nothing, like they a bitch. I've never heard of them doing that during the V, you know what I'm saying? So that might have been like the way they X'd his ass out. And if that was true, if that's what it was, he got lucky that they didn't kill him. Even though, like I said, they didn't have that many numbers. So they didn't want to lose people anyways, you know. And I've never really seen the Crips do no savage shit like that up the road as far as kill people like that and anything, you know, like I've seen the Bloods or the Kings or the GDs or the Cutthroats or the Z's or the Nietas, you know what I'm saying? I've seen all of them kind of like slice and dice for the most part, like 99% of the time. It's rare you'll even see a fight break out with them. It's more like lead straight to knife play, you feel me? So the reason I wanted to share this story with y'all about him getting stomped and shoved under that bunk, it's because I want people to know it ain't good gambling. Don't owe people no money, you know. The littlest thing that you say can turn into a bet. You know what I'm saying? You could be dribbling the ball on the basketball court and be like, oh, I bet you I make this shit. And you'd be like, yeah, right, bet. Huh. And you shoot it up and you miss it. You didn't even agree on what the hell you betted on. You just said, I bet you I make this shit. Now someone said bet. And you shoot it and you miss it. Next thing you know, dude might feel like you owe him something. There's always that saying, you know, lock it in. When you shake hands and, oh, that shit locked in, you can never go back on that. Even if it's a lot or a little, you can never go back on that. It could be something as simple as a bag of Cheetos. You know what I'm saying? And it can lead to a knife situation all over something that petty. You feel me? And I don't know why, but a lot of the institutions I found myself at, a lot of gang members are the ones that you know, because they got numbers, they got backup. A lot of them try to gamble and buck. You know, they'll literally gamble with you, especially if you're not in the gang, if you're unaffiliated. They'll try to gamble with you. You know, like in their mind, they're going to get you in the hole. You're going to have to pay. And then on the backside of their mind, if they lose, their intentions is to buck you. You're not a gang member. You're a nobody. You have no numbers. You don't have nobody backing you. And if you try to do something to them, then the gang, of course, is going to come after you. So you got to be very careful when you find yourself in these situations. Or you're going to find yourself like that CRIP, you know, shoved up under that bunk, knocked out. You feel me? Not saying that you can't, you know, get the best of a situation and come out on top owing somebody money. But, or on the other side of violence, you come out on top, you know, be the one to whoop them. But at the same time, why put yourself in that situation? I told a story a long time ago about an individual that was known to, you know, let gang members get themselves in the hole with him. Because when your ass don't pay up, he'd come looking for you and kill you. Like he was known to go look for people, and he only did it to gang members. He'd let gang members borrow stuff. He'd front stuff to them. Oh, I'm going to pay you back. Okay, no problem, no problem. He hopes they slip because he was known for that. Every institution he went to, he was known for that. He'd put your ass in the hole, put your ass in debt, and then next thing you know, he'd come for you and try to rip you, slice you, dice your whole shit, you know, and get you off the compound. And then the gangs would try to attack him, but at the same time, you know, since he was living like that, and they shouldn't have been gambling in the first place, a lot of times they leave their own kind out in that water. And they allow that their own kind got stabbed up. You see? Now, me personally, like I said, I'm not really into the gambling. I'm not into being in debt. If I ain't got the money right now, I ain't even going to talk about it. The only time that I did find myself owing money and not having it right now is when it came to getting tattoos. Because the way it was working with that is they want a down payment. You know, they want like, okay, let's say we're charging you $30. Okay, well, you know, 15 now, 15 after. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, all right, you got to give them half to start, and then when they're done, you owe them the other half. Sometimes, you know, you can't get out to the canteen window. The compound might be locked down. They might not let you out there. They might not let you go to the window to where you can get your commissary, you know, or your canteen. Then next thing you know, you can't pay them, you see? But they understand, you know, you can't get to that window. But if you go to postponing it, not trying to hit the window, or they see you eating good, or you're doing plays with someone else, you're doing business swaps, handing things to other people, different things, and the tattoo man peeps that, then it looks like you bucking. It looks like you're not trying to pay, and you can find yourself in a situation. You know what I'm saying? Me, when it comes to that gambling shit, even if I know for a fact I'm going to win, sometimes I don't do it because it isn't about me not being able to pay it. It's the fact that the other person might not be able to pay it. And some people might have good intentions or a good heart at paying, but they just might not have the funds, or they might not be able to get the funds. So then I find myself, I got to do something violent out of an act of, you know, showing that I'm on that. And, you know, I got to do it in order for other people to realize I didn't let it slide. So then I found myself looking like a bully because I know they're not living like that. This is the last thing on their mind they want to even think about. And before you know it, I have to do something because they owe me money. And the way it goes in prison is if somebody gets over on you, you don't do nothing. Everyone else is going to take that like you're vulnerable, and they're going to come and try to put down, try to feel like, oh, if he got away with it and he's not even living like that, just imagine what we can get out of him. You know, that's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? But for that CRIP, felt bad for that boy. You know what I'm saying? And the reason for it is because just, it looked like he was dead. When I was in that cell and I was leaning there and I seen his arm fall out from under the bunk and they stuffed it back in there, it felt like seeing someone like get their ass whooped and put inside of a trunk. You know, I've seen that happen a couple times in my life. But it was just like he was gone to the world. By seeing his limbs fall out and them just like put it in there and then kick him in his shit a couple more times, it was like you could tell he wasn't purposely sticking his arm back out there. But when they were kicking him and shit and his arm was flapping around and then they'd stick it in and it'd come back out again, they'd go to stomping him again, like that boy was knocked out and he couldn't control which ways his limbs went. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, man, it's very important. You want to make sure you never owe anybody bread. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, this happened from a gang that I didn't see really do shit inside of prison, you know. And they still was able to kick that boy to sleep and shove him up under the bunk. And I personally don't think they would have did that to their own kind unless that was a way to like stomp him out. or something like that. I have no idea, you know. But if you've seen anything like this, drop it in the comment section. If you've seen somebody get knocked down, shoved under the bunk, drop it in the comment section. Because I've seen a couple people, you know, have things to do with under the bunk. See, it depends on what type of cell you get put in, okay? Now, let me make this clear before I end the video. You could get put in a cell that has foot lockers. Now, if there's foot lockers in the cell, you're not stuffing nobody under the bunk. You get what I'm saying? Now, if you got floor lockers, you know, like the ones that are like separate from the bunk, like it's up, it's over there, it's like a big ass metal thing with a lid, and it's away from the bunk, then you could see right under the bunk. You get what I'm saying? That's the type of cell that, how it was in the cell that where he got put up under the bunk. So they didn't have like the ones where it's like a cubby, like picture a bunk, and then you got a metal, you know, drawer with no drawer. It's just the square cutout, and then another one next to it. No one's fitting under there. You get what I'm saying? But if you got the foot locker to where it's just a locker separate from that, then of course you can get under there. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people run from fights under there before, and I've seen someone like leaning down trying to whoop him, and he's up under there scared, kicking, throwing kicks and shit. You feel me? Trying not to get beat up and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's something you see a lot. You know, people will try to attend to do what they can. You know what I'm saying? If they're not really a fighter and they're scared of someone and they're stuck in a cell, they're going to try to fit in a place that you really can't fit in. You know, and for this one here, he should have seen it coming from his own kind. At the end of the day, you know, I don't know what happened with him and the gang members that was, you know, after him or whatever. I want to say, I believe that his own kind had to cover that tab just so there wasn't a war. You feel me? And that right there is probably why they were mad and they beat his ass over it. You get what I'm saying? And the head just stood there the whole time like this and watched it all go down. But the fact is that he felt so comfortable that he didn't peep his own surroundings, that he trusted to walk out of that cell with his back towards all of them. You know, he probably thought like the sooner he gets out of the cell, the better. So he wanted to be the first one out. But that left everybody behind him. So as soon as that boy grabbed that boy and suplexed him and slammed him on his head, it was a wrap. He probably never seen it coming. And one thing about it, when he woke up, I know he felt it. His shit must have been throbbing because them boys were kicking his ass for a couple minutes. And y'all know when it comes to a fight, a couple minutes is a long time. But that really wasn't no fight. It was just an ass whooping. You see what I'm saying? But that's all I got for y'all today, man. Y'all drop in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Have y'all ever seen anything like this go down with a gang member? All right? And if you have, let us know. You feel me? I've seen people, like I said, beat up and, you know, stuffed under the bunk. People try to hide their bunkie there. When they beat their bunkie up, if they can fit them under the bunk, they'll try to hide them there. So when the guards come through, you can't really see it. There's been things on the news of people find dead bodies inside of other people's cells from them stuffing them under the bunk. You see what I'm saying? Like an inmate will bag their bunkie, stuff them under the bunk, so when they come around, it looks like the cell's empty. And then they'll go to work and handle their business, hoping that when the guards do find them, it don't look like the bunkie did it. Next thing you know, they'll find them and they'll realize, damn, that when they do the little autopsies, they find out this dude has been, you know, lifeless for 3 days. So obviously his bunkie did know, because that boy hid the body for 3 days. You see? Picked him up, put him in his bed. They go around and it looks like they count him. 1, 2. They go to the next cell. 3, 4. You know, they don't really care to see your face at some institutions. Even when they do master roster count, they just count the heads. When they look in the cell window and they see there's 2 people, one looks like he's sleeping under the blanket, the other one's doing push-ups, or the other one's on top of the bunk reading a book or something, they're just going to count it. You see? So it's like there's ways to get away from it. But then when they do that autopsy and find out how long he's been dead, you know what I'm saying? In all reality, that means during the day when the cell was open, he didn't leave him laying there sleeping in the bunk, because then that's when the guards come around, make you wake up. Hey, man, make your bed. If they notice that you don't move, so they'd have to stuff him under the bed, stuff him under the bunk, or hide them in a mop closet or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Shit's crazy, boy, the type of things you see. But that's all I got for y'all today, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all week. I'll see y'all here in a couple days. Like I always say, make sure you keep them rat squares, clowns, chomos, pedos, gunners, wannabe island boys, and clout chasers out your circle. And until next time, this the one and only. I am my team, Frog.
I'm a criminal, I'm a cool nigga, but I got a limit though.
I'm a cool nigga, but I got a limit though, cause I'm a criminal, yeah, I'm a criminal.